A very watery old man drowned. There are still strange scratches on his feet. Last night was the highest tide ever. If the old man fell into the sea because he lost his footing, his body would have been washed away, since the tide was out at 4 a.m. So they reckon the old man died after 4 a.m. The soles of his feet were clean, so the body should have been moved to the sea. The murderer's aim is to disguise the old man's death as a suicide. In order to find out the truth, Jae-in sent the old man to the coroner for an autopsy. Just then, Dan found a small piece of paper in the old man's mouth. It could be the key to solving the case. Dan took it out and looked at it. It's a small fragment of a Bible page. This means that the murder must have something to do with the Bible. So they decided to go to the neighborhood to check for clues. They arrived at a nursing home. The weird thing is, there's surveillance all over the place. It's more like a secret base. They were just about to enter. A man stopped them. He's walking in a very strange way. It's exactly the same as the walk of the mysterious man they filmed last night. That means he's probably the murderer. In order not to let the other side know, they decided to look for clues in other places. At that moment, the man answered a phone call. The person he spoke to said, "You have to take care of Jae-in and the others." He immediately took out his gun and ran in their direction. Jae-in and Dan came to an abandoned primary schools. It was covered in thick dust. Suddenly there was a gunshot. It almost hit both of them. They run for cover. The man found them, even though Jae-in and Dan ran as hard as they could. The man caught up with them. He pointed a gun at them. At this critical moment, the owner of the BB appeared in time and stopped the man. Then they subdued him and brought him back. At that moment, the autopsy report came out. It wasn't seawater that drowned the old man, but well water. After learning the news, the two men went to the well. They found strands of white hair floating in the water. It seems that this is indeed the scene of the old man's murder. Jae-in wanted to simulate the scene. He asked Dan to push his head into the water. When he was about to drown, Jae-in struggled. He threw Dan onto a nearby tree branch. Strangely, Dan's hand on the branch developed a red rash during the evening meal. She heard a local resident say that a herbal remedy could cure it. Jae-in immediately went to the mountain to help Dan dig for herbs. As a result, he dug up a big box here. He opened it. There was $1 billion in cash, but that island is full of fishermen. How could they have so much cash? He rushed back to tell Dan. The two of them talked it over. They decided to stage a play at the old man's funeral tomorrow.